Join us right here on the Splash Live, Superintendent for West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Dania Bazzi. Thank you for being here, Dr. Dania Bazzi.
Thank you for having me. Good morning to you.
Yes, so first and foremost, let's get straight to it. Michigan educational budget approved. What does that mean for West Bloomfield School District and our students?
Well, there's a lot of positive aspects of this budget for our school district in terms of investments and things that, we all feel strongly about in terms of the meal program that allows us to provide students meals for breakfast and lunch. We know that's an important part of learning is to make sure that students are fed. There's also been, a nice investment in our preschool programming, our GSRP, which is funded at the state level, and we've seen, a nice increase to that. There's also been increases to at-risk funding, which again helps us support our students at all levels to make sure that they're successful in the classroom. So there's a lot of positive to the budget that we want to highlight and appreciate from our legislature and our senators and the governor. But there's obviously some things for the long term that I still think need to be addressed within the budget.
Of course. It's not going to be one size fits all for all problems that we're having right here in the state of Michigan. So I completely understand. But what impact do you anticipate the community college guarantee having on West Bloomfield graduates?
I think that's a great opportunity for students. Usually what sometimes acts as a barrier for students to move on to post-secondary education is that access to college. We know that costs at the community college and university level are increasing.
Correct.
So having that pipeline to be able to say that you have, access to go to school, post-secondary education is a big step for the state of Michigan. But at the same time, that comes at a cost. So my focus is always going to be on K-12 education in terms of providing students the best here, but it's certainly a great opportunity for some of our students after they leave the district.
No, I understand that from your perspective. You want to make sure you're getting them prepared to go to that next step in education. Completely understand. Joining us right now on the Splash Live, Superintendent for the West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Dania Bazzi, talking about the Michigan State educational budget that was just recently passed, how it affects West Bloomfield School District. And we just talked about the free meals and things being offered. What benefits do you expect to see with its continuation?
I think, again, having that ability to ensure that students have access to meals while they're at school is really important. And we're excited about continuing that with our food service department and obviously enhancing that each year as we go by. Students are very honest with us. I usually do a meet and eat with myself and members of the Board of Education each month where students give us their feedback, and food service tends to be a topic. So it's something that we've really been working on, and next year are excited for some changes and having student voice in that process to make sure that we're listening to our students.
Yeah, that school lunch is very, very essential. Trust me, we all get in between classes. It's a great social time, don't get me wrong, and a break from the education and whatnot, but having that great meal, especially we don't know what our children's situation is at home, so to be able to provide that great nutritional meal and adequate meal makes sense. What strategies are being implemented in West Bloomfield to adapt to the budget changes and ensure the quality of education is maintained?
I mean, there's really two things that we're focusing our efforts on, which are, one is a grant that comes from the state of Michigan, which is 31AA. And that specifically is meant to support mental health supports within the school as well as school safety. Unfortunately, in the budget, that grant was heavily reduced. I mean, to the point where that will most likely impact our services in that arena. Now, the MIPSERS funding that basically is where most school districts are receiving their funding, it's a great amount of money, and it will help us with continuing these services. The problem is it's not guaranteed for any time beyond the 24-25 fiscal year. So meaning in 25-26, 2026, there's no guarantee that that MIPSERS funding is still going to be there. Now, they are trying to address this through Senate Bill 911, and basically that will ensure the stability of our retirement system and ensure the funding stays back with the district. Our funding increase this year wasn't through the traditional per pupil foundation allowance increase. That has held steady in this budget, which that's not occurred in the past 10 years, where we have not seen any increase to the foundation allowance. Now, the amount, though, is still a healthy amount that we were given this year. The problem is we need to ensure that it's guaranteed for future years, so that we can continue focusing our efforts on mental health and school safety infrastructure. So really, right now, those are our two main focus areas, and what we're really trying to work with our legislature and our senators to ensure that that Senate bill is addressed.
A lot of key information and great points that you hit on. Join us right now in the Splash, Superintendent for West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Dania Bazzi, joining us. Now, since we're talking about budget, we have to talk about jobs, right? With concerns about potential future teacher layoffs, how is the district preparing to handle any staffing challenges that may arise?
We look at our budget, and, we have to ensure that our spending, revenue, and expenditures line up. We have worked very hard, though, through attrition as people leave, to be able to make those changes without impacting people. 85% of our budget is people, and that's because that's what we do. We're educators, and we're in the business of people. So it's something that we work closely together as an administrative team and our staff to say, what are the services that our students need to make sure that we're able to provide the services that we're able to, that are needed to provide for our students. There will be complexities with this budget in terms of long-term sustainability. We will address those through, steady, calm leadership to make sure that our students have the very best. I will say we've been balancing it in terms of increasing our programming, even with some of our difficult financial situation that, like many schools have found. I mean, this year we're increasing our music program at the 5th grade to include choir. We've expanded our STEAM program to all K-5 elementaries across the district.
There you go.
So we're going to continue working. We've also brought kind of the push-up method in terms of our math instruction at the elementary level, so that if students are advanced, they're able to move up to the grade level ahead in a very smooth process. So even with this, we're being creative as a district with our community to make sure that we're continuing to expand the offerings for our students while addressing those budgetary constraints, in the most efficient manner.
Well, let me just tell you right now, you're doing great work, Dr. Bazzi. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Essentially, we covered a lot of points, but basically to recap and kind of go over things, what are your priorities and plans for the West Bloomfield School District in light of this new budget overall?
We're going to take a look at the long-term sustainability and to see how this impacts us going into the next fiscal year, 25-26. We're going to continue to advocate, though, to ensure that Senate Bill 911 is pushed through so that we can ensure that funding stays with us for the foreseeable future. And we're going to continue to lead in terms of, student data driving our decision-making in terms of ensuring that we're meeting the needs of every student within the West Bloomfield School District.
Yep, having that open ear, listening to the suggestions, anything that the community needs, the students need, parents need, I believe that's key right there. Thank you again for your insight, your information, and more importantly, your time. Superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Dania Bazzi, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.